I basically wanted to tell the story because I always wanted to tell a sniper story. I'm also just terrified of the idea of like these random shootings that happen in public, the ones where you don't know where the shots are coming from or who the shooter is. So that's where the idea came from. I learned an awful lot about snipers and how they learn to do what they do. And one of the things that really fascinated me was how snipers are able to stay alert and focused on their target for, 72 hours at a time. Mind you, this is often in a foreign country, when they're in the bush somewhere covered in camouflage, but having to hold a position for this incredibly long time and focus on a target, hoping that they might, come into range, in that time period. So I learned about how they did it, and I wanted to be able to apply it to this episode.
That's part of their training. They can stay awake for 72 hours and remain completely focused on their target.
How?
By using a mental exercise called fantasy integration.
I think the term itself, fantasy integration, was actually something that I invented just for the episode, just to give it a name. But what it stands for is the fact that often to stay focused on their target, the snipers invent a scenario, a fantasy scenario that involves them and the target.
Don't you get lonely doing this work?
I'm used to it.
The original example that I heard from someone that was in Delta Force who, had trained like this, was to imagine that you were building a car with that person from ground up. Just because the process of building a car, putting in every nut and bolt, would take time, and that you were with this person building this car, over a period of 3 days. And that was a way of maintaining focus. So in this case, we changed, obviously, what the fantasy was, but the purpose was the same.
But it was all worth it, wasn't it? For a chance at real happiness.
It's not for me to say.
I'm thrilled with how it turned out. My favorite moment is the ending of the episode. That final shot is taken, and we realize it's been taken by Hotch, and we reveal that moment of him in the balcony across the way with Yetide, with the actress Yetide, and he's taken out the sniper who was about to kill her. He holds her in his arms, and we end the episode. I think oftentimes we continue the episodes and have more follow-up after the story is over, and I think those are great. But it was really nice to be able to tell this very clean episode from beginning to end with, no extraneous pieces.